Alright, we're back. And we're looking for shit to do. They don't look to be. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay. Oh, you can't parry them. Oh, yeah, because you can't parry martial arts attacks. Which is cool. Like, you know. I just wish they'd attack faster. They're not complete goons. Looks like we got something. I will take this. I like how this tree looks quite a lot like a chew. I also like how this skin that I'm using has a model of the Locomo sword instead of the Master Sword. It's so cool. Okay. So I'm gonna get my bow out because I know what's in here. Destroy all the enemies. There we go. There we go. It's already been 10 minutes of recording. What do I get? I want to go get Elixir Soup, which is one of the best items in the game. Well, yeah, it's one of the best items in the game. I say it's arguably beaten by the... Oh. Have I not been to Eastern Fairy Island? I feel like I haven't. Whatever. I feel like it's arguably beaten by the magic armor, you know? Actually, where am I right now? Let's go to this lookout platform first. Last episode we got the Master Sword, so I want to talk about that. Basically, the Master Sword is like, it's kind of like a lock, or literally, it has a demon sealed within it, right? Now that demon, his name is Demise, and he plagued the world for generations with his disgusting malice and evil intent. And the goddess chose a hero named Link, the original Link, to take a blade bathed in holy light and construct it into the blade that repels all evil. And he did this and she did this because, oh, that's more important, that's more important, that's more important, that's more important. Oh, there we go, okay. Yeah, it checks to see if you opened it yet. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Let me go up here. Let me seize this treasure. Oh. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So. The idea is that the goddess Hylia entrusted Link with a legendary journey to forge a sword to bane evil. This is an important detail because it was quite literally the only thing that could even remotely harm Demise. The only thing that could actually, like, lay a dent on him was in fact, okay, it was in fact the Master Sword. And what happened was, though Demise, I believe he was objectively stronger than Link, got cocky because he knew his own strength, but did not know Link's. And since Link was just a human, he underestimated him, and therefore he lost the battle because of this. Now, obviously, like in the game, he loses because you beat him, but I feel like there's an in-character reason for this too. Regardless, Demise is sealed into the Master Sword, but in his final breath, he curses both Link and Zelda that every time they reincarnate, an incarnation of his hatred will spawn. Now, it's important to understand, he never said that he would reincarnate. He only said that his hatred would reincarnate every time that they reincarnated. This means that Ganondorf is that incarnation of hatred that Demise was talking about. He is the only person. Now, I have a theory regarding this, right? Ganon exists as a tool, right? Ganon, it's like, okay, so I think Demise knew that if a human was able to rival his power, even if he got cocky, the Master Sword still did actually, like, it fucked him up. If he knew that a simple incarnation of his hatred wouldn't really solve his problem. And his problem, of course, is being sealed away, because he knew it was going to happen. They practically called it out. Instead, Demise thinks Well, I know I'm going to be sealed, so obviously I want to break the seal. He's thinking ahead now. He's already thinking ahead, because these final villains tend to be very smart, right? And as the Demon King, he's had a lot of time to plot. I assume that he's thought of this happening. Not too kindly, of course, but he's thought of it nonetheless. And he thinks to himself, instead of trying to kill them, I'll do both. I'll try to kill them with a lesser, with like a figment of myself, and I will I'll break out as well. Now you probably like wondering, what the fuck? What does that mean? What it actually means is, here's what I see. To understand what I'm going to talk about, you need to understand that the Master Sword has a heavenly body within it. It is a metallic woman named Fi, and she exists as the spirit to the sword. She's basically just like what makes the Master Sword the Master Sword, what gives it its power. Right. Basically, since she gives the Master Sword its power, she's also the one that is actively keeping Demise sealed within it. Now, okay, let's touch upon what a seal is to give further information on this. It's basically like, compare a seal to a rope that you tie around someone. You don't want them to let go, right? But if you leave the rope alone and they struggle, and they have all day to rest and recover and struggle as much as they want, it will eventually give way. It will either, the knot will either undo, or the rope will simply break because enough force has been put onto it so that it eventually just snaps. Now, how do you get around someone breaking this rope? The answer, of course, is to add a level of supervision and more force. Fi is there, assisting the seal to remain perfectly intact. And this is because, of course, that no seal is perfect. You can't perfectly seal something away. But with Fi's help, she can defend against any attempts that Demise makes to struggle. If he can't struggle, then you can't break free, right? So it would not be it would be far more secure. Here's the problem, though. Recall that I said that Fi is the Master Sword's power. Now, hypothetically, what would happen to the internal struggle in the Master Sword that I'm posing if its power was needed for something else? For example, fighting an incarnation of hatred laid by a demon hundreds of years ago. Every time, and I'm posing this as like a theory, every time that Link draws the sword, its power is diverted because it needs to be used to thwart the evil to save Hyrule. What I'm saying is that with Fi's power being diverted to defeating Ganon over and over again, you have to assume that the seal, her precautions that I'm proposing to stop Ganon from breaking out of this seal, are not working as well. Meaning that, well, I said Ganon, to stop Demise from breaking out of this seal, are not working as well. Which means that in those spare moments when when Ganon is around and Link has to stop him, Demise can struggle. Which means... Oh... Okay. So because Demise can struggle, the seal is slowly wearing away on the Master Sword. Meaning that every now and then, just every couple hundred years, he's able... Wait, no, so it's... Okay. So, the Master Sword... its curse is waning. It's becoming... It's not becoming weaker, but Demise is getting closer and closer to breaking out. Take in note just how ferocious that Calamity Ganon is. Now, perhaps... Okay, what the fuck? It is hard to say. Actually, I think it's rather... strange to say that Ganon will get stronger as the seal gets weaker. These have no correlation. Rather, you should propose, if you're accepting my hypothetical, that Ganon will get stronger the longer Demise is within the seal. But this is also flawed, as Demise has been characterized to be extremely patient. Then again, he has been imprisoned for the entirety of the Zelda timeline. The entire time. This means that he may be growing frustrated. Just enough. If he is growing frustrated, then his incarnation of hatred, specifically his hatred, will grow stronger. Now, Calamity Ganon being as ferocious as it is could be explained like this, but it is only a hypothetical. There's no way to know if Demise is growing angry. Stipulations about the Master Sword aside, I'm not too pleased that we got a golden feather. It's not so great. Let's head into this submarine. Okay. What could possibly be in here? No submarines or something that I can explore. Huh? What is that? Why is that there? I am not too sure about this. It's all foggy here. That's a heart. Is this another heart? No, it's a rupee. So they have random drops. Okay. What is he doing? Put you out of your fucking misery. Let's talk about Ocarina of Time. Specifically the Kokiri, right? They're forest folk, governed by the Deku Tree. Little children that never grow up. Perhaps because their prime is when they're like 8. So why do they evolve into the Koroks? We see this. We see this in, well, actually in this game. It says that the ancestor of Makar is Fado, the Kokiri. Right? So, okay, cool. Just what, like, I can see why they would choose to make this happen. Because it's kind of a insightful way to, it's a different approach at the Kokiri, because they're children that never grow up, like saplings. But why would they become trees? It's such a strange approach. I think it's possible that the Kokiri merged with like Deku folk, you know? What are these? Okay, well, it's possible that the Kokiri merged with like the Deku folk, right? And because of that, they grew all wooden. And when I say merged, like, it doesn't have to be explicitly sexual. I don't think there's any way for that to happen. But the fuck. The magic of the forest could have influenced it, for example. This is very possible. Whatever, right? Like, some things need not be explained. Like the intricate way that that the Kokiri turned into Koroks is not necessarily required to have explained to me, okay? Now, what I want, right, is more or less to know, it's to know what the Koroks are doing, right? Now, in this game, after you, in the regular game, after you defeat the boss of the second temple of the game, the Forbidden Woods, which is, as luck would have it, stationed right outside the Deku Tree's place. So, after you defeat the boss, you can go on a very long side quest to pour forest water on all of the saplings that they've put around. Now, my theory, right, is that the Koroks in the Wind Waker are not the ones in Breath of the Wild, because they have never seen Link before. But if you say that to an extent the Koroks are the creation of the Deku Tree's magic, like I proposed, or like could have proposed, you could also say that he could just make more. I mean, his powers are never really explained to us, right? So, what I'm saying is that the Deku Tree is most likely, well, assuming it's on the same timeline, well, actually, it has to be, because they make references to, some titles. I'm not sure of their correlation just yet, but I'm pretty sure that Breath of the Wild should be along the timeline for Wind Waker, and it would make a lot of sense to have the Great Deku Tree that's there is not the one from Ocarina of Time. It's not the one from Wind Waker. It's just one of the new ones, one of the new Deku Trees, where I assume that they're planting a lot of them. Well, they said they're planting a lot of those sprouts so that more forests will grow down below. But only, I assume that, because the world got changed back eventually, that it's, I think it's safe to say that the Great Deku Tree in Breath of the Wild is just one of those trees, right? I think it's safe to say that, you know. Okay. I remember, literally just like last episode, we had the fucking gauntlet. There's another chest. I think a progress item could be in here. That fucking gauntlet actually scared the shit out of me, because I thought I was just gonna go through like a wave of enemies, like chews or something, and then it shot 3 dark nuts at me, and then I just had to fight 4. Whoa. This is some cursed joke. I can't carry any more money. See, now this is the shitty part about this, is that I can just get sniped down because of this. There's quite a lot of enemies here. Wait, so I don't even have to do anything. Just gonna take your ship. What's up? Fuck you, bitch. One-liner. Look. I am committed to getting something for my girl grandma. Okay. We are warping to fucking Greatfish Island. Greatfish Island. And we, my friends, are gonna go to the Great Fair. We're gonna have a hoot about a couple things. There's more random bullshit that I've said. So, I gotta ask, right? What is the Wind Waker made of? And why is it special? You know, it's important to be able to conduct melodies with the Wind Waker. It's important. I feel like for once they just recognize that Link doesn't have a sense of melody. He can keep rhythm, but that's because the songs that you conduct with Wind Waker are so fucking simple. There's no way you can't do them with just this smallest bit of practice. The 6 songs that you conduct with these fuckers they'll just come naturally, right? So my question, of course, would be what is it made of? Well, what it's got to be made of something special that I guess makes it more potent. I've always wondered. Okay, well, actually, I think it's safe to say that the Wind Requiem is something you can only conduct with a Wind Waker. But that's not that important. Well, what's more important is I gotta ask this question. Why in the figgity fuck does King Rome have it? Did you just know that fucking the world was gonna go to shit in the exact specific way that it did? Did the gods bestow it upon him? Was he just laying awake at night? He's like, he just rubs at his crotch. He's like, this is a little bit harder than I'm used to. It's actually, don't worry, King Ron. It was actually the magic conducting stick. It conducts the wind. You know what this means? Give it to a blonde-haired boy 3 million years in the future because you knew this all along. Doesn't that seem just a little bit fucking outrageous to you? I want to like kind of segue that into Master Ore, because I gotta ask, is that what the Master Sword is made of? Because think about it like this, right? If they really wanted to, they could have just had the ore that you improve the Master Sword with and Link Between Worlds be Death Mountain ore. They could have, but they chose to make it Master Ore, this unattainable substance that only the Master Sword, it's the only thing that can repair or upgrade the Master Sword. So, is that what it's made of? Now, you might think that's just a bit of a stretch, but I mean, if we assume the goddess made it, she can make it out of anything. She's the goddess. I just don't think she can use it because of the gods' rules. Anything that they make tends to be in the hands of mortals, so they can she makes sword but not use sword. Also, just gonna break this for just a minute. I love Grandma. I love her so much. I hate it when she's sad. I never want her to be sad. That's why I came and brought this. Oh, I like the elixir soup, but I do like to see this cutscene. There's the elixir soup. Okay. Okay, so as I was saying before, the goddess could really make it out of anything she wanted. She just can't use it. Much like the Triforce, the gods opt not to use their creations, so I think it would just make sense if she couldn't use the sword. She made it out of Master Ore, because it's this rare, unattainable, perfect substance that perhaps conducts magic well. I'll say that. And she just bestowed it with light magic. Well, or holy magic. I don't really know the intricacies of it. So, I think it's actually quite amazing that the writers decided to write that in. So, like, people can't fucking complain about the fucking Triforce. Well, you can't complain about the gods not doing shit because they can't. The powers, it's like, okay, they willingly opted to make the power they made something that only mortals can use. They can't go back and change it. It's not like a rule they instilled upon themselves. Like when Zelda's logic is strange at times, but sometimes you just have to understand that there are times when you just fucking accept it, right? It said that the Triforce was so powerful that not even gods could wield it. Humans can't wield it either. They can just use its power once, and then it splits up like the fucking Dragon Balls. They can't. They still do have power though. The gods have power. Like they flooded the whole thing about Wind Waker is that Basically, Ocarina of Time Link went on to beat Majora's Mask, and since he took too long to finish the speed run, they had to close the gates of the world, basically. And in less jokey terms, that just means that Ganon came back, right? He came back and was fucking shit up, and this time there was no one to wield the Master Sword. So because he couldn't be thwarted, they caused calamity on the world. They gave warning to the people, but they still fucking murdered everyone. Everyone who could not make it to the mountaintops it's never explicitly said, but it's obvious that anyone who didn't make it to the mountaintops they drowned. They were brutally murdered. Now, this isn't an act of cruelty. Its net worth was good, but oh, nice. I like that. So, look, basically they gave warning to the people, and there was no other option. They didn't have time to think about something else. They just like, okay, Ganon will die if we do this shit to him, so let's do this shit to him. And that's what they did. So that's why the world is flooded here, because they used the flood to murder Ganon. But here's a little thing that I have to ask, right? Is that why Twilight Princess? Just why? Okay, Twilight Princess. I'll preface this by saying it's like one of my favorite fucking games of all time. It's my I'll say it's my all-time favorite Zelda game. Like, I have so many good memories of this. It brought up my childhood. Now, baby supporting aside, there's the fact that it brought up my childhood has nothing to do with this argument. I just want to say that I understand the game very well. I want to say that it's very likely that the same kind of calamity that befell everyone in Wind Waker was just about to happen in Twilight Princess. And I will tell you why. The gods... Here's what they knew. They knew Link existed. I don't have to explain why they do. They do. They're gods. If the gods are able to cover the entire world in an endless ocean, they are easily able to keep track of a person who bears the mark of the Triforce. This is important, right? So they know Link exists. Here's the problem. A force they are unable of interacting with is taking over Hyrule. A calamity. Why do I say they're unable to interact? Interesting. You may say, what the fuck, Garden? Literally, they can obviously see them. Well, here's the thing, right? The gods are... Okay, well, here's what I'm thinking, right? Where? Okay. The gods did nothing to stop the incoming threat. They relied on Link, right? So, basically, they knew Link existed, they just kind of used that. It's like, okay, wait. So I said that the gods could not comprehend the threat. They could, but they didn't care. Or they did care, but they were using Link as like a failsafe. Just like, Link's there. You might as well just fucking let him do the shit, you know? Jesus Christ. So, I think I need bombs. Oh, it's green. I do need bombs. So they knew Link was there, and I propose that they were always planning to bring another calamity upon the world. But they didn't, because Link was there. Now, The light spirits also knew of Link because they have a connection to the gods, because they're light spirits. The goddess... So, if we say the goddess was like... The goddess Hylia was the first goddess, then she must have birthed... the three golden goddesses, right? I feel like this just makes sense. With that revelation, I want to say that you should loop their wills in the same category, which means they're all holy, meaning they're all lights. They have light magic. Not light magic necessarily, because it's never implied that Din, Nehru, or Furor had some sort of divine power. But for the sake of the argument, let's say that they themselves are divine, right? This is the argument that I'll make. Fuck. Okay. That's the argument that I'll make. So, the gods can't, well, they can interact with the Trilly, but they choose not to. The light spirits, on the other hand, no. Oh. Oh, nice. Grandma sent me a piece of heart. But here's what you gotta know, right? The light spirits cannot interact with the Trilly. It is impossible. Now we see this, right? Because one, the light spirits are stationed in places around Hyrule. It's important to understand that because fucking failure to do so makes all this shit just not make sense. Two, if they were able to move, now we've seen that they appear in the final cutscene. They appear in the final cutscene of the fucking. Oh my god, what? Do I need to eat a Hyoi pear? Or something? What do I do? Okay, so... basically... what it is, right, is that they can't interact with the Trilly. Which means that they can't know who Zant is. That's why they never say his name. Because they don't know. They know that he is the king of the Twilight, but that's only because he so proudly claims that he is. And we've seen this. He usurped the throne. He's called the Usurper King. He's not real. But what I'm trying to get into is that if you play Twilight Princess, you'll find out that it's impossible for Link to complete his mission without Midna. Now, the gods did not know that Midna would do what she did. I don't think it's fair to say that they're omniscient, because if they were, then it's likely that none of these problems would be happening. Like, they have power to you know, they could just thwart Ganon each and every time. They could command the sages to find and locate him the moment he's born. If they were as... no, I can't get if they were as omniscient as I'm implying, then Zelda would not be a problem. So I think it's fair to say that we should rule out their omnisciency. Okay? That being said, they cannot see into the mind of Midna. They can't. And this this means that they didn't know that Link was capable of completing his mission. They just had faith in him. I think it's likely that if he had failed, which he would have without Midna's help, then Hyrule was in for yet another great calamity, like the flooding of the worlds, though this time it would probably have been different, you know, like, somewhat. So yeah, it's kind of fucked up. And we can rule out that Midna was like talked to by the gods because, okay, if we assume that they're holy, like I said, then there is no way that Midna can even approach them without dying. She literally combusts at like even the faintest sight of light. Like just being cast into the world into the natural world of Hyrule was enough to almost kill her. I know the manga isn't completely canon, but I'd rather it's more interesting to assume that she was about to die than she was in a sickened state. I feel like it's more climactic, so I'm going to roll with the headcanon that she was dying, okay? But basically that means she can't speak to gods. It's not possible. Unless they talk to her through her head, but we've never seen the gods do this. So it does not make sense. And even if she could speak to the gods, well, actually, no. If she could speak to the gods, then there's no defense. But she can't, so there's no need to include that hypothetical. What I'm saying is that let's compare them to. Let's compare Midna to some. Okay, let's just talk about some of the companions. Okay, we got Navi. We'll say the King of Red Lions is a companion. He's nice to me, and especially we've got Midna. We got Fi. What's the difference between Fi and the other three? King of Red Lions assists Link at his own will, but is not, other than giving him the Wind Waker, which we may have to assume is the only thing that can properly conduct the Wind's Requiem. So other than that, he's just a boat. The King of Red Lions himself, specifically, is not important. It is it's the Wind Waker that's important. Link could have made a boat. There could have been a section of the game where Link has to make a boat, or perhaps the pirates have some sort of dinghy that they give him because they pity him and he's just a little kid, and Tetra does her fucking weird wink and looks at you and says, "Oh my fucking god, you need a dinghy. You're so puny and tiny." And then it's like, and he takes the boat because he's a fucking little fucking cuck, right? So he does that. And that's where we go, right? Now that means that King Red Lions is not, he's not an overseen companion. Navi was entrusted to Link in Ocarina of Time by the Great Deku Tree, and other than helping him with puzzles I would say in a canonical sense, if Link were actually there, he would likely be asking for help with puzzles or with enemies and how to fight them. Other than that, he could still figure that out on his own. It's possible through more trial and error. Sure, it would take longer, but Navi isn't necessary. Tattle is more personalized and specifically wants to take out the Skull Kid with Link. Not necessarily with Link, but only because, like, just with Link because she can't on her own. She needs his help. And so they form a temporary contract, and they fuck shit up together. Now, fucking... What is it? What's the next one? I think, well, the next one I just think would be Phi then, right? What do I need? What do I need for that? I think I need... No, let's scale out, okay. So, Phi is different. Phi is necessary. People complain about her attitude a lot, but in nature, I don't know if you visited this one yet, but in nature, Phi, she was overseen by the goddess, waited for Link, and was the sword, which means that in order for the rest of the Zelda timeline to come to fruition, I've already been here. In order for the rest of the Zelda time to come to fruition, Phi had to exist. She had to be Phi. Right? She had to help Link. Now, I'm not gonna say that she had to be the one to tell him all of the overly complicated bullshit like percentages and probabilities, but she did have to be there for the entire adventure to help Link forge the Master Sword, because she is the blade's power. Midna, like, I'll say Tattle, it's a good comparison, is on a personal quest to thwart someone who for a time had ruled over her, and was not overseen by anyone, which means that the gods nor the light spirits could have reasonably relied on Midna to help with Link's quest. You know, fucking, like, it's the light spirits that were the ones who were even, like, who were able to communicate at all about the Twilight Realm, right? And they were still defeated. Like, they still got clapped. Let me assure you. Which means that if Midna had not come and wiggled her overly sexualized on the internet ass, then Twilight Princess would have been a quarter of the size that it is now, and everyone there would just be a fucking walking corpse. Let's talk about Paya's ass cheeks. Pretty humongous. They got that birthmark on him. I hate this. Like, I feel like she's just kind of made out to be that one character that you just can't get enough of. Like, I feel like people sexualize her. Now, this is the hot take, but it's because of her hair. If her hair was not that hot, I doubt that anyone would give a fuck about it. And not only do you know I'm right, but you feel ashamed for knowing this. You feel ashamed if Paya's hair was just let down, some regular ass haircut. Imagine Paya with a bowl cut. Your dick becomes flaccid in a picosecond. And my friend, you are after that fucking gray ass, bouncy ass hair, and I do not have a problem with it. You go pursue that silvery lace delicacy that is on top of her head, that is moving in strange ways that no one can predict. Nintendo, you need to man the fuck up and show me the birthmark on her left ass cheek, because I'm scheming for it. My only thing is, like, it could... Okay, this is gonna sound like the worst excuse on the planet, but it could actually be funny, you know? Literally catch her with her pants down, but... Oh, wow, why are all the melodies out here on the platforms? We have all the melodies. Alright. Yeah. Sunwatcher Island has nothing I can do. I think it's nice how the sea-bound enemies, they don't usually attack you when you're just like fucking off on your own, you know? Come on, give me something good, give me something good.